Hi. This might be not the perfect lighting for me, but I'm hopeful that you'll enjoy the show of the prisms on the wall behind me there. And I have my second in a pair, which is actually the one that came first as far as, creating it. Journal from 3/5, the second one of that day. Uh, so let's see what's here. What shall it be now? I've just done a live video and another written one to accompany it. Once upon a time, I used to record many of those too, the written ones, but now I do it so rarely. I don't know why. It's strange for sure, living your life this way, being so trusting in heart that you simply follow it without questioning. I remember how hard that used to seem to me to let go of the mind that way. Yet, now it's done with ease. Quicker and quicker comes our development. Things that once took literally years to develop and master can now seemingly happen overnight. It's truly amazing. And the thing is, if we stick with mind, that will cause us to limit this potential. Mind isn't used to things changing so quickly, and mind likes to be in control of things, or at least to think it is, poor dear. Mind also has ideas around what it takes to be orderly change. As long as mind is in control there in your life, it will limit you in so many ways, both subtle and gross. And most of them you won't even know. Living what living that was called normal, but oh, how very limited normal is compared to who and what we really are, what our capacities and abilities are. Now is the time to recognize that and to intentionally spread out our wings. Soon enough, we'll be flying. For now, it would be good just to know and recognize that we do have some wings until we begin to come to terms with our identity as divinity. We won't be able to recognize that we have these metaphorical wings. It won't enter our minds to ever fly. That's called being normal, but it's also called being limited. That's what mind brings to the picture. So center in heart, go within, however you choose to do that. The main thing is to turn the focus inward to train the attention on self and away from where it's normally been occupied, on the outer world. As long as we are looking out there, there will be something to see, always something new to discover. That is never ending. That is until you call a halt. What if you don't want to halt it? What if you like being outward focused? Well, one of two things that come to me is that it could simply be fear masquerading that way. It is not uncommon for people to have fear around what they see as losing their mind. We've been taught to fear such things. It's part of the programming, along with never letting us know we have an interior kingdom of heart and inner consciousness. That's all part of the master plan of the powers that were, the plan we're now walking away from, going our own way. So, what I'd like to suggest in this case is to sit with the feeling, sit with the discomfort, keeping an eye to the source, the base, the cause of it. Just look at it in a questioning way, being empty of everything else. At first, it won't feel very good. You'll perhaps be tempted in a dozen ways to go do something, think something, anything else. You might even worry that you're becoming a masochist. Seriously, it's hilarious the many ways mind will try to divert you from something like this. You're making it look into something it would rather not see or not have you see. So just sit with it. As you stick with heart and stillness, just watching the discomfort, you'll begin to be taught. The discomfort is really a message for you, one that you haven't sat with long enough to receive, so it keeps coming back. In your stillness, the message will reveal itself to you. It's likely something pretty simple, but it's important too, or you wouldn't be in this state over it, now would you? So just sit there and listen and be. Now, I don't know what you'll find underneath the discomfort. It could be anger, an old memory, it could be pain. It doesn't matter. Just look. That's all you need to do. You'll get to watch the rest take care of itself. At some point, whether in this sitting or in another one, you'll get to the bottom of this particular discomfort. You'll be seeing the cause, the origin, whatever that is, likely in a scene from your past, but not necessarily. You'll be shown the origin as part of the message. At that time, I can share with you that by your quiet looking itself, the discomfort, the core of it, is probably healed. Most likely, you're already aware of a certain peace that has taken its place. In this way, I hope you can recognize how the work you just did was simply the seeing. A certain determined sort of looking, while heart-centered, is real spiritual work. Things get accomplished in the midst of or in the presence of this very quiet looking. Things take care of themselves. For most of us, this is the case. All that's required to heal most of our pain and discomfort is this quiet, still, and determined viewing from a heart-centered place, for lack of a better word. Yet, to get here, the mind must be set aside, for it won't willingly go where you're going. Mind doesn't like any discomfort from which it will try to run away. One of the biggest discomforts of all for mind is pure quiet. Mind just doesn't know what to do with it or what to do with itself. It seems like a sort of a death, anathema to mind. Mind is never still. Thus, in this way, mind is the enemy of this work, at least initially. This won't last forever. Mind can change to become docile and obedient. It won't get that way by you trying to force or train it, however. Mind has a mind of its own, is a mind of its own, so it's best not to try that. Forget the war of wills. That's duality. That's sticking to 3D. Just leave it alone. Maybe you don't know this yet, but you are not who you think you are. And for most of us, that would be mind, pretty much. It's not too terribly difficult to disidentify or step away sufficiently from the body to recognize that it is not you. After all, You have many bodies, many embodiments, other lifetimes. So how could you be just this one body, right? Even mind gets that. Yet, somehow, the same logic doesn't seem to work for our identification with mind. Even though each of those bodies you're wearing or using in those lifetimes has its own mind, yet this mind thinks it's the only one. And it thinks you are it. And you agree for the moment. Let's change that, huh? To change that, let's step back just a few paces. Well, I feel some of you getting in touch with your fear of losing or going away from mind. Okay, just be with that. Just feel it. Don't run away. Be still with it. Keep looking at it. It will either retreat or your looking may even resolve it. You have a powerful gaze. Time to start observing it. There is so much to see once the gaze turns inward. Parenthetically, remember it's wise to always process your fear, not to run away from it, for that only strengthens it. And fear keeps you out of heart. Okay, center in heart again, and again, and again. Just keep doing that, no matter what arises. Anytime attention wanders away, focus it back here, back within. Here is a good reminder. You are divine. You are actually a divine being, robed in flesh, manifesting here in 3D. And if you could see your higher self, you would weep with the awesome beauty of it. The body and mind are a part of 3D, but they are not you, not the whole of you. It's better to see them, I think, as an avatar in this game called life. They are not really you. You are not limited to that. Do you see? You extend out far beyond what the body-mind is able to perceive. You actually contain the body. It doesn't contain you. I know, it pretzels the mind. That's okay. Just be with it. Thus, while you retain in your garden of belief, where all of your beliefs are growing nicely, while you retain the firm conviction that you are this body-mind, that makes you subject to its limitations. And they are many. Once you step back a few paces, you can see this much more clearly. Do you see? Rise up over the body there in imagination. Pretend you're the guide or guardian angel or something. Step up above and now look down on that. Recognize you are not subject to those limitations. You are free, much freer than that. Play whatever games you like with this to help you cut free. Whatever comes to you, see how you're not as limited as you've taken yourself to be. Your intuition, your inner teacher, is ever ready and joyful to work with you on such things. All you have to do is be present. Be here in heart and in now, which means in silence. Let the teaching begin there within you. I hope that something here has helped you to back away from being so identified with mind or form. This will provide you with some breathing space and some space in which to spread your wings. Heart has its own imagination and its own ability to do what mind does, to think. Only when heart does it, you will see how it is different. Just stay in heart for this. No use trying to put it into words, but I don't have to, for you can have this experience for yourself. Now that you have this bit of breathing space, or even a great lot of it there, let's take a look at thought again, only this time from heart. Parenthetically, that's where your new breathing space is. As we sit perched in heart this way, we can now, with some distance, look on mind as over there. Enjoy your distance. Just observe. Okay, over there, mind is sitting and wondering, maybe even quiet, wondering what to do about this new situation. Mind likely feels a bit lost, but don't identify with this, just observe. You are watching mind. Stick with heart. Now, as you watch, you may see mind come up with a thought or two. Just keep watching though. Don't identify with them either. Be observant. From your perch here, you can see what the subject or general matter of each thought is. And that is fine. Just don't enter into it. Don't follow where the thought would like to lead you. That would be into thinking. Notice instead how it is possible to observe a thought as if from a distance without thinking it, without getting drawn in. To know the subject of it is not to be thinking it. That's just observing. Keep your distance. You are not mind. How's that working for you? Stick with heart even to contemplate this. Don't listen to mind and all of its offerings. You've been your whole life in mind, and you can go back to it later. For now, stick with heart. It's time to experience and examine the very real powers locked away within. As long as you're occupied in mind, this will not happen. I don't care how many reincarnations you have. You won't get past this and into heart until you let mind go. Most people don't get past the fear. The initial fear that arises on first stepping away from the mind. We were never taught we could do this. Instead, we were treated, excuse me, and trained up as if we were nothing but mind and body. And we bought that story. Well, now we find out it's a lie. So, what's new with that? Almost everything we're discovering is only lies. Stick with heart again and ever again. This can be your last embodiment. Instead of embodying this time, you can recognize your am Godness and go free. You am God. Yep, that's right. This one will be an am God, I am ent. Sink down into that. Let that be. See it as a mirror for self, higher self, peeking through the veil, looking at you, seeing herself there. You are that. Now, from all of this, you have some gardening work set out for you. The assignments given by your own higher self through the still small voice in the heart. Keep one ear always attentive to that special silence within. It's divine. As you go to work, tending your garden of belief, making whatever changes you feel right for you, you may observe mind try to intrude, to slip in a thought here and there. You may spot it right away, and if you do, you will quickly return your focus to heart by simply looking away from mind, from that thought. Then again, you'll sometimes find yourself buried deep in thought before you recognize that you've left heart focus. And that's okay too. In either case, the fix is the same. Return your attention back to center. Gently, lovingly, and it's really that easy. You don't have to figure anything out or even do anything. It's just a matter of where your ray of attention is focused in your now. One sure giveaway that you've gone off with mind is, again, if you find yourself anywhere but now, here. If time enters in any way, such as via a regret or expectation or plans, then that's a sure giveaway that you're back with the mind. It's not possible to be heart-centered and be in thought. Don't think about this. It won't do you any good. You're spinning your wheels to do that. Mind is not capable of understanding it anyway. So if any answers come to you, they won't come from mind. Camp out in the center of your chest. Stay there for the duration. Stick firmly in now. What you will find over time as you persist in this is a lot, is a certain calm peace. You won't notice when it arrives, but you'll sometimes notice that you seem to be somehow swimming in it, the way this peace pervades everything. You'll also notice at some point, if not already, an inner teacher. Now, I don't recommend that you externalize this one. Treat it as if it were a separate being. I suggest it is not. This is a natural function of your own divinity. Maybe look at it as the voice of intuition or a higher self. Don't go thinking you're communing with beings, for I can guarantee you'll be wrong. Why is that? How could you be wrong, some say? Surely they exist. Yada, yada, yada. On goes the mind, right? Back into heart with you. Well, it's a choice for the lesser road or the higher road here, and it's very simple. Now listen. You're there in heart, which is the center of the all. You have the opportunity to rest in the divine whole, in the one that is all there is. Clearly, that is the high road. On this road, as you look around you, it is clear that you are the sum total of everything. All that appears is just you, aspects of self. The lower road is the road of separation. And I don't recommend you introduce that to yourself within heart. You're introducing a duality by stepping into a subject and object relationship with someone or someone's. Do you see how that works? This is your inner sanctum. You're objectifying a part of the self, of the whole, and by doing it, you can make that real in your experience, even though it doesn't have an eternal reality. Now, let's be clear. Either way is fine. It's not necessary to always choose the high road, my friends. Don't beat yourself up. Choose what you wish. always follow your own heart. Tune into that. It will be talking. The question is ever, are you listening? Are you present? Are you here in the now? If you are, then your internal tutor is present and so is your guidance. Well, I ask you, what could be better than that? Enjoy. And notice that word is much like enjoy. Good day.